Best of r/Tales from Tech Support episode 15. About a decade ago I was working for a company that did third-party internet support. Small mom-and-pop type locations who couldn't afford to have their own tech support, NOC, mail servers, etc. would hire us to do all that for them. I like to think of it as timeshare tech support. In a hoe. One day I'm logging into my email and fumble on the keyboard, hitting some key near the enter button, e.g. password 123 enter, and while I'm thinking I'm going to have to enter it all over again because oops, but number, it accepted it. That's weird. I logged out and tried it again, intentionally messing up my password at the end. Again, it logged in without issue. Did a little black box testing, and it turned out that while you could set up and it would accept a password of any length, it only stored and read the first 8 characters. As long as your password was over 8 characters long, it would take anything after that point. If your password was at or under 8, it would have to be an exact match. I had other co-workers test this as well, then presented the issue to our NOC. They fixed that pretty quickly. Thank you. Next. TL. Doctor, when in doubt, go see for yourself. $me. Obvious. $co-worker. Tries his best. $employee. Has the key. $project worker. One of project workers. They do a software inventory of the desktop computers. We really need to train them on details. $temperature thingy. USB temperature thingy. Apparently with onboard storage to log temperatures over longer periods of time. $measure application. Is supposed to be able to read data from $temperature thingy. 14 months into a Windows 10 migration project. Co-worker. Yo $me. Can you package $measure application? $me. Sure, no problem. Just give me the software, any hardware and info. I get this $TT and a CD. I package the stuff and start testing. $measure application cannot find the hardware, even though I have made absolutely sure all the drivers are installed. It is simply not picked up / detected. I can, however, read the files on the storage area it has. $me. Co-worker, are you sure this is the thing that they need to read from? Co-worker. Yeah, well, this is what I got and this is what project worker has registered in the database. I give it one last shot with generic drivers from the chip manufacturer. Yep. Another serial to USB device apparently. No dice. Another half day gone. $me. I'm starting to think hardware failure here. Co-worker. They said it was still working. Shall we just go there and see? $me. Sounds like a plan. We walk over to the other building with $temperature thingy. Co-worker. Hello. We would like to test $measure application to read out $temperature thingy. Employee. Oh, okay. One moment. I'll get it. Gives us a totally different, much smaller device. And $other temperature thingy. No way. Co-worker. I thought $temperature thingy was used with $measure application? What is this? Employee. No $temperature thingy. We read the files from the computer and we use to process them in $other measure application. $other temperature thingy is used with $measure application. NSFW. The old software / hardware switcheroo. I should have known better. $me. Well, that explains a thing or two. Co-worker. Sorry it has taken us so long to ready application. We'll try and fix things as soon as possible. Next day, I connect $other temperature thingy, which is picked up directly by $measure application, reads the data, can be processed, the whole 9 yards. I package $other measure application which also works with $temperature thingy directly as designed. Happiness. HUUUGE edit. Kicked out the acronyms, added a few words to make the story flowing somewhat. Thank you. Next. My mom loves, and I mean loves, dodgy online casino games. I have downloaded and installed every casino game the Microsoft App Store has to offer, but alas, she wants to go to the darkest corners of the internet and play. So it should come as no surprise that last week she got hit with ransomware. So I get an emergency call. Computer locked, can't access files. Haul ass a couple towns over, and yep. Shit's fucked. Time to go scorched earth. Lucky for me, I had set up a version snapshot of her desktop using a Raspberry Pi and an external hard drive. The caveat of the system being, it is a USB, that shit needs to be plugged in. So I arrive, the backup system is unplugged. Last snapshot 6 weeks ago. No biggie. I explained to my mom that everything in the last 6 weeks is gone, and that the only recourse we have right now is to lay down a fresh install of Windows, change every password and move on with life. She agrees. So I install Windows 10 in S mode, set myself as admin, give her a user account that can access the App Store, load back the last good copy of her data, reconnect the drive, and additionally set up a code synced folder called important, which is now the default save location for most applications. I go home. Before even getting to my door I get a call. $Mom, I need this document back. $Rube, did you create it in the last 6 weeks? $Mom, I think last week. $Rube, it's gone mom. I can't help you. $Mom, but you were supposed to fix my computer. $Rube, I did mom, but your backup was unplugged and you got ransomware. I can't help you anymore. $Mom, but I need it. $Rube, why did you unplug the backup? $Mom, I didn't like the cords. $Rube, I can't help you. It's gone. Going forward, put things in the important folder and they will be saved to the cloud, and keep your backup plugged in. About an hour later. $Mom, I need to install Digislets eggs and it says I can't. $Rube, yep, you shouldn't install that. $Mom, but it looks fun. $Rube, find something else that looks fun in the Microsoft App Store. There is a link on your desktop. I labeled it games. $Mom, but this one has prizes. $Rube, it's a scam mom. $Mom, what did you do to my computer? I can't do anything. $Rube, I made it safe mom. So I have been going through now a week of this. The biggest mistake of my life is telling my mom I work in IT. She thinks I am a wizard. My next power move is to tell her that I now work in marketing. Thank you. Next. Hello, this is my first post. Got plenty of stories as we all do, I am sure. So I am in charge of the service desk first and second line, some third line if needed. I had one user who was complaining about her computer turning itself off. It was not. I checked the event viewer and shows button event. So I explain. 2 weeks later I did not hear anything until her manager grabbed me on my office walk and asked why I hadn't fixed it and it still keeps happening. I told her what I found, but I'll have a look. When I said you must be hitting the button with your foot when you're getting up or something, she kept swearing blind that she wasn't and would never kick the computer. Turned the power button to do nothing. A week goes by, I go to check, she had not had any issues. Her manager comes over all smug and says, see, I knew he would find what it is and stop blaming you. What was it? So I told her, face goes red. A few more weeks go by, office shuffle, I move her and she decides she wants the cables to go in the other side of the desk without saying anything, then calls saying her keyboard isn't working. The cables were so tight when she moved the keyboard to be closer to her she snapped the cable. Thank you. Next. I was working for a bond broker's broker as a programmer, but we were small enough that I had to do production support as well. In case you are unfamiliar with the industry, the bond market is where all the money is. Stocks get the attention, but that's small potatoes. Stocks cost what? Tens of dollars each. A bond starts at $1,000 each and the minimum order is 10. If the trade is for less than $1 million, we don't even look at it, the computers just automatically process the order. And we don't deal customers, we deal with brokers who may have dozens of client accounts under one password. So you'd think that our security would be top notch. Or at least we'd just have the normal sins like plain text passwords. No, it's far worse than that. Strap in for my tale of horror. Hey, did you figure out why Bob can't see his client accounts? No, it doesn't make any sense. When I impersonate his rep key, user ID, I see everything that I should. Well, try logging in as him direction. Is his password in the ticket? No, just look it up in the database. Grown, we really should fix that. Tappy wait, why is there 2 username columns? Well, one is for when they log in from the website and the other when they log in from a skinned site. Skinned site? Yay, that's where we alter the CSS so our website looks like it's part of the customer's website. I don't see why that needs a separate list of usernames, but whatever. Okay, I found the users. WTF. We have duplicate rep keys with the same username in the same column. Why isn't this marked as unique? Oh yay, that way people can always get the username they want. That seems like a bad idea. Tappy okay, so we do have a handful of people with the same username/password combo, but none of them are Bob. Did you check the other username tables? Other tables? Yay, we've got 3 other username/password tables for single sign. Let me guess, no unique usernames in those either? Of course not. What if the client sent us an updated user list with duplicates? Okay, so the code at least has some kind of marker to know which table to check? Don't know. Check the stored proc. Select top 1 rep key from. Select rep key from rep where username equals at username and password equals at password union all. Select rep key from rep where web username equals at username and web password equals at password union all. Select rep key from single sign where username equals at username and password equals at password union all. Select rep key from other single sign where username equals at username and password equals at password union all. Select rep key from another single sign where username equals at username and password equals at password. So which rep key they get is non-deterministic? Thank you. Next. Names etc. All changed. TL. DR at the bottom. I'm an electrician but occasionally we do IT support for our operators if needed. None of us received any training so we usually just do our best to help them with our own knowledge. Today Paul called and told me he couldn't finish his system check because the PC won't let him log in and access the server via the remote control client. I told him I'll be there in 5. After I arrived I asked him to show me through the process. He went on to open the RC client and told me that now he has to type in the IP address from the PC he wants to access, and then proceeds to type in his own IP address. I know most of them by now because I'm usually the one to do the checks. I asked him to show me his papers and saw that he wrote down an IP address. I checked and as I suspected, he tried to remote control his own computer. I explained that he can't log in on his own PC via the remote control client because he is already logged in after all. We had a good laugh about it and I showed him where to find the correct IP. TL. DR. PC can't control itself. Thank you. Next. I've been lurking in this subreddit for a couple of months now and thought it's about time I share one of my tales. All dialogue is an approximation. This happened a couple of years ago. First, some background. At the time I worked in a small shop as a tier 2 technician who occasionally had to moonlight as a server administrator/engineer/scapegoat. We'll refer to me as Gollum. The IT director, Boomer, think Left 4 Dead, was a very loud man who believed that by sole virtue of his unerring correctness everybody else was utterly incompetent. This was, perhaps his favorite word, and completely useless, unless they could get him in trouble. One of the systems we supported was this set of devices that did nothing but cycle through images and videos stored on an SD card. They were used for advertising and were one of the pet projects of a person in a higher leadership position. We'll call him Schmuck. These devices could only be configured over the network and only through special management software. These devices caused us loads of trouble due to finicky SD card slots, bad Wi-Fi antennae, and faulty NICs. Our tale begins when Schmuck decided to take it upon himself to swap an SD card in one of these advertisement devices. This would normally be done by one of the people in marketing. He made 2 mistakes when doing this. He formatted the card as exFAT not FAT32 and he loaded the card with BMP and AV files rather than JPG and MP4 files. Naturally the device did not display the images, just a black screen. The error would have been in a log file accessible from the web interface. This would have been an easy fix had Schmuck left it at this and allowed us to handle it. He did not. Schmuck decided to call Boomer directly to request assistance. I was in a meeting with Boomer at the time and he decided to put the call on speakerphone. The conversation went something like this. Boomer, okay, I've got you on speakerphone. Gollum is here, he might be able to help. Schmuck, right, as I'm sure you're aware, the marketing lady who normally handles updating the images for the advertisement devices is out on vacation today and it's time for the monthly rotation of the advertisements. I tried doing it myself but it won't come up. This is in a high traffic area and I want to fix it. Boomer. Alright, I'll send Gollum over and he'll get it fixed. Schmuck. No, I want to fix it. Give me the login info and I'll fix it myself. Gollum. We can't do that. I'll come take a look and get it. I'm cut off by Boomer putting the phone on mute. Boomer. You can't tell this guy that. He's in leadership. You're going to make me look bad. Just keep your $% mouth shut. I'll take care of this. He unmutes the phone at this point. Boomer. Alright, here are the credentials. You ready? The username is, and the password is. You'll need to access the configuration page from https:// dot. You got all that, schmuck? Yes, thank you. Schmuck hangs up. After this, Boomer demands that I create a ticket for this issue and document what happened on this call. He later yelled at me for mentioning him in the ticket and demand I change what I had wrote to make it sound like everything had been done by me. I forgot to do that. I was not the one who violated security policy. About 2 weeks later, the help desk forwards a call to me from Schmuck. Schmuck, why isn't that display device fixed? Gollum, I'm looking at the original ticket and you said you wanted to fix it yourself, and this is the first we're hearing that it's still not working. Is this a new issue or the same one? Schmuck, IT's the same at $% and issue. I want this fixed now. Gollum, alright, we'll get a technician to look at it and get it fixed ASAP. Boomer walks into my office at this point. Boomer, is that Schmuck? Put him on speakerphone. Boomer, this is Boomer. What's the issue? Schmuck, as I just said, the issue with the display device from 2 weeks ago never got fixed. I need it fixed now. Boomer, I'll send Gollum over to fix it right now. Boomer hangs up. Boomer, why wasn't this fixed? Gollum, he told us he wanted to fix it himself. You gave him the login informer. I get cut off. Boomer, shut the $% up. Don't blame me for your incompetence. Go fix IT. Do your % job or I'll find someone. WHO will. In accordance with our policy for these devices, I headed out to the location, pulled the device from service, hung up a sign indicating that it's not working, and then brought it back to the shop. After I reviewed what I had written in the ticket, I decided to check the SD card. Of course, it's the wrong file system and loaded with the wrong file types. I requested a properly loaded SD card from marketing and put it in the device. Still nothing, just a black screen. I fiddled with the SD card a bit as sometimes it doesn't like to read unless it gets wiggled a bit. Still nothing. I then cycled through the various video outputs to see if it was outputting on any of them. The results were as follows. HDMI equals black screen. VGA equals black screen. Component equals garbled image, but there was output. Composite equals white screen. Red text unrecoverable firmware error. Not the exact message, but the gist of it. I realized what had probably happened and called up the technical support guys from the device's manufacturer and inquired as to a firmware recovery method. There wasn't one. Boomer came into my office while I was on the phone with them and listened to the call. I had it on speakerphone. By the time I hung up, he was red in the face. Boomer, why did you just accept that answer? They have to provide a way to fix IT. Give me that thing. I'm calling them back and getting IT fixed. Apparently you're too incompetent to handle a $. Phone call. Why did I even hire you? After this rant, he grabbed the device off my desk, nearly ripped the cables out of it, and slammed the door as he left. I wanted to be absolutely certain as to what caused this, and I wanted a record of who and what had caused the issue. I suspected someone was going to try to blame me for this. It wouldn't be the first time. So, after he left, I called up Schmuck on the help desk line. The help desk line is a recorded line. This is both good and bad, as we'll see later. Gollum, good afternoon. This is Gollum from IT. I had a question for you regarding the display device you called about a couple of hours ago. Schmuck, well, it's about time you did something. What do you want? Gollum, I need to know what you did with this device after you spoke to Boomer 2 weeks ago. Schmuck, well, I couldn't figure out what was wrong, so I tried to reload the firmware with an update from the manufacturer, but then the configuration page said it couldn't connect, so I had one of the people on site power cycle the power strip it was on. Gollum, how long did you wait for it to come back up? These devices take about 10 minutes to go through the firmware update process. Schmuck. I didn't wait. Why would I need to wait? It either works or it doesn't. So I turned it off and back on. This is an approximation of what he said. It was 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but that's the gist of it. Gollum. After getting yelled at earlier and then listening to that bout of ignorance, I was a little pissed, and I think my tone reflected that at this point. The original issue was that you copied the wrong files onto the card. Marketing has special versions of the media that they use for this purpose and you used the wrong ones. Additionally, you had the card formatted with the wrong file system and the device couldn't read it. All of this would have been a simple fix had you allowed us to fix it 2 weeks ago. But, because you wanted to do it yourself for who knows what reason, it is now broken beyond repair. We have spares on hand to replace this device, but it is broken because of your impatience. Have a nice day. I hung up here. After my little rant here, I went and grabbed the spare, configured it, and deployed it. It worked, no issues. After updating and closing the ticket, I printed the ticket, pulled the recording of the help desk line, and then went home. The next day I was called into Boomer's office, and was greeted with 4 write-ups, 1 for violating security policy by giving out a password to a user who didn't need it, 1 for insubordination for not fixing the issue in a timely fashion, 1 for dereliction of duty for not pressing the manufacturer's tech for a solution, and lastly 1 for raising my voice at Schmuck. I took those write-ups, the ticket, the recording from the help desk line, and testimony from a couple of my co-workers who overheard parts of this over to HR and was able to get 3 of the write-ups thrown out. Unfortunately, there was a recording of me ranting at Schmuck, so that one stuck. Boomer tried for another 2 weeks to find a solution for the firmware issue and was never able to get anything to work. I left that job about 6 months later and didn't hear anything else from Schmuck in that time. TLDR. A high-ranking user called up the IT director demanding access to fix a problem himself, and the director acquiesced. When the user was unable to fix the issue, and in fact, made it worse, I got blamed for not fixing the issue when it initially happened.